Hello, listening people.
Hello.
You're listening to Spit and Polish Presents Unappreciated Masterpieces. I am one of your hosts, Ryan Sliwinski.
And last week I said that I was Podcaster X, but I have to come out with it. I'm not actually Podcaster X. I am Podcaster Spice.
Hello, Podcaster Spice.
Hi, Ryan. You can call me Bartek.
Hello, Bartek. How are you?
Good. I just bring up random references because I'm so funny.
Well,
random.
could you tell the reference of what Unappreciated Masterpieces is? as a
Spaghetti.
show? Okay.
Unappreciated Masterpieces is the show that we do on Spit and Polish Presents. Why are we called Spit and Polish?
Good question.
Likingly... Oh, thank you. Likingly because we are always spitting, and we both happen to be Polish, and only one of those is a metaphor.
You guess which one? So, what's Unappreciated Masterpieces again?
Oh, right, the other part.
The one I asked?
Yes.
Yeah. The main one.
Ryan, there's an order to things, and you just brought chaos. Unappreciated Masterpieces is the weekly show that we do, and you're listening to one of them right now.
Hello.
The one that you look up the title, or look down the title.
Look across at the title.
Unappreciated Masterpieces is the show where we take films that are not appreciated enough in the current day.
Some might not even call them films.
Mm-hmm.
Those are rude people, though.
Typically, we want these films to achieve the cult status of such great films like This and That. And some might argue that the film that we have this week is already a cult film, but we think that it deserves much, much more.
Like an Oscar. A retrospective Oscar.
Oh, they give honorary Oscars.
Yeah, they should give one to this.
You know, like whenever you watch the Oscars, like halfway through, they're like, "Oh, by the way, we had the governor's ball or something."
Yeah, or
a week earlier,
or like
and we gave honorary Oscars to Jackie Chan and
or
blah,
like
blah, blah, and
one
Bruce
for
Cook.
one in memoriam Oscar. Yeah,
Yeah.
Here you go.
One day we're gonna see them say we give it to boring person, dumb person, and Spice World the movie.
Are we watching Spice World the movie?
Oh shit!
Is that the movie we're watching? Oh, great.
I'm being more random,
I don't
Ryan.
even need to ask you what it is in Polish, because we all know that's a universal translation. We don't need the Polish
A
title.
language of the European
Was there a
Union?
Polish title for this?
No, there wasn't.
There wasn't.
There wasn't.
The Spice Girls just break through all language barriers. English, Polish, that's it. They have to be translated in every other language, but those two languages, they're the same. It's wacky.
I guess because Spice World is such an important term in this film, you can't really translate
Is
it.
world still the same in Polish? Like, does that not have a, like...
I don't know, there is an equivalent, but I'm just saying in the film, Spice World is such an important term that you
Right.
can't translate that.
Fair enough, because I was like, if it's still called Spice World, like, I thought it'd be Spice whatever world is in Polish.
No.
Spice Quenjavanaki. Whatever
It
that
sounded like
is.
you were half saying Quevenjane Wallace or something.
Spice Quevenjane Wallace. So, Bartek, we have a guest. A spice expert, some might say. Some might say, hey, is paprika a spice? And our guest might say, maybe it's a herb. I don't know. We need to know who our guest is first for them to confirm if paprika is in fact a herb or a spice. And what is the difference between herbs and spices? Who's our guest, Bartek? Do you know their name?
Yes. I was just wondering if I should answer your question first or...
No,
other
they're
question.
the expert.
Right,
You
right.
could have a secondary opinion
Right.
in case they offer up an opinion that's different to yours.
I'll be the sub-expert.
Yeah, you're like when you watch a current affair and they get like that other expert that's not really got any expertise in anything. Like this week we're covering dole bludgers. We talked to the head of Centrelink and some guy.
A doll aficionado, not an expert.
Exactly. So who's our guest?
Our guest this week is returning guest of many episodes, Lauren Thuys.
Hello.
Hello.
So, paprika, herb or spice?
It's a spice.
It is it?
It is a spice, I believe.
What's
so.
the difference?
Difference, I think, is herbs are the leaves of plants, and then spices are usually the seeds or like a
Okay.
nut ground up.
So you're saying that,
powdered.
so you calling Mel B a nut?
No. It's usually just like an essence.
Wow, hear that, Mel B? You've been called a nut. That's not nice.
Melby kind of makes me think of Melbourne.
Mel B. So,
Come down to Melby.
Lauren, welcome.
Hello.
You're here for Spice World.
Yes.
I'm here for Spice World. Bartek's here for Spice World. You guys, you're
Podcast
here for
The Spice.
Podcast Spice. You guys are listening people location are there for Spice World. Let's not beat around the bush. I've got a copy of the film. You should have a copy of the film. Mel B, I know you're listening. You definitely have a copy of the movie. Still on Laserdisc, though. So get your copy, because I'm going to do a countdown from 3. I'm going to press play, and hopefully you'll be lined up as we speak about the majesty that is Spice World. So get ready, because I'm going to start this in 3, 2, 1... play.
You said Laserdisc, Ryan, but according to the film, the only acknowledgement they have of
technology
digital release was video.
Oh, that is
VHS.
One of the last lines.
That is one of the last lines, and it's so weird because it's an accurate line. But by today's standards, this 1998 film,
I think so.
It's out of date. You go, wait a moment.
They don't know about Putlocker.
So the thing about this movie is it's insane, and we all love it for that. Everyone who's ever seen Spice World unanimously agrees that this movie is made by crazy people.
What are you talking
But-
about? I'm just looking at a trippy background.
Well, it's a James Bond parody at the start, basically. It's like a James Bond opening. There's Emma. She looks very enticing with her blank stare. Mel C. I didn't know there
What
was...
does she see?
Well, what does the C stand for?
I should know this. I really should know this. I don't know.
What does the B stand for, Mel B?
Melanie
Burn.
Brown.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Mel Brown. It's almost Melbourne.
Mel Brown. What does the E in Richard E. Grant stand for?
It's his middle name, so maybe Ernest or something.
Ernest. Yeah, I'd like to watch that Ernest movie where it's like instead of Ernest goes to camp or Ernest goes to jail, it's Ernest goes into Richard Grant's middle name. Like that's the movie. George Wendt is in this movie. We'll get into everyone who's in this movie, but first, before we even get into our history with the movie, can we just give a round of applause to this great song? Lauren, what's the name of this song?
This is the one that I just don't know.
Is that the name of the song? Great song. I love that.
I did so many quizzes where the question was what was the first song, and I got it right every time, but I've forgotten what it is.
Well, let's
Two Become One, I think?
Two Become One.
No.
Is it not?
No?
No.
Is that the one? No, is that the one we were talking about before?
Yeah.
No, it's
Before
not
we
that
start
one.
recording.
I think it's got like 3 words. Or
Is
two.
this song called Over Me? Take me, make me wonder, too much of nothing. I don't know. I'm not a spice expert, Lauren. You came on here as a spice expert, and you let us down already.
24 hours ago, I
Sorry.
would have told you.
Sorry so much to listening people out there who are like, it's clearly Livin' La Vida Loca, but I'm so
Isn't
sorry.
that by Ricky Martin?
No,
No,
it's
Spice
by Spice Girls.
Ricky Martin did Two Become One.
Yeah, and Wannabe. Before we even get into it, can we try and decipher what is on Ginger Spice's dress? I tried to
something
read
about-
it. Like it says
girl power.
Power.
It said no. It says Supergirl, right? And then like
It says Jerry.
Jerry. What?
'Cause
What's
that's her
above
name.
Jerry though? There's something above Jerry. I couldn't see.
Well, if you pause it, we can find
Why
out.
we can't pause it, Lauren. We're synced up with the audience.
Well, hopefully, Alan Cumming and his documentary crew film it.
With their amazing footage that they've got, that is totally well lit and not shaky. It's pretty great. Yeah, I was trying to decipher what was on old dress. So it is just Jerry.
I think it says girl power, Supergirl. That's
But
Jerry.
what's on the side? She has something.
Feels?
Feels. Were those 90s fashions. Now, just go back into the time machine. When we first started our podcast ever, we started with Big Fat Liar.
Yes.
And in that, we talked about how the 2000s and late 90s, 2000s had a very distinct fashion style. And I said at the time, it was all influenced and kicked off by the Spice Girls. Specifically, Spice World. And at that time, Bartek, you were like, are you sure? You sure, like, they could influence fashion? Well, Bartek, you tell me. Just look at this scene right here.
Was late 2015 Bartek really that ignorant?
He was that ignorant. He was
Wow.
also spiceless. Yeah, I said it.
Wow.
I said it.
Well, he's no podcaster Spice, I'll give you that.
He's no podcaster spice.
What's so funny?
So what is our history with not only this movie, but with the Spice Girls? Because this is one of those movies that purely exists because of the people involved, being Spice Girls.
It's like the band makes a movie, or band
yeah,
is
like
in a movie,
Tommy.
Yeah.
So, Bartek, Spice World and Spice Girls, history?
Spice Girls, I was definitely more aware of them, when I was younger. I knew some songs. I think it played a little bit around my house, so I knew some songs.
Well, your brother Oscar was just whacking them on, just being like...
I don't know if he was around in the period I'm talking about. I'm talking like Bartek can't speak English period kind of.
So it was the pet cat putting them on. I get it.
We didn't get that until 2003, my friend. So no. Yeah. I when I walked into this film, I'm like, I feel like I know many songs by them, but I can only think of Wannabe. Then as it went on, there were like 4 or 5 songs. I'm like, oh, yes, of course, this.
Yes, it's famous.
Might not know their names, but yeah. I hadn't seen this film, but I'd heard of its reputation, and a couple of years ago I watched an internet review of the film, which obviously had the whole uses clips from the movie, fair use and all that. And just the little bits that I remembered from the clip, it felt like nothing was really connected, and I was wondering if this is just like basically
a slice of life.
A slice of life. Not really so much the drug implications of this, but like kind of trip film, like just a lot of random sketches.
You mean they go on a trip?
I mean, they're on a bus. Buses take you on trips.
They're on a bus that's bigger on the inside. Sorry, I had to.
It's a TARDIS. It's okay.
A TARDIS, yeah.
We all knew the Spice Girls should have been the real Doctor.
And its license plate says 5 girls. All the quizzes were onto that.
It's very funny because 6 girls live in it, though. Because...
Is one of the Fisher girls?
No, the manager's...
assistant.
She lives upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess she's not a girl.
I guess
she's a woman.
I guess she's not famous, yeah. Or maybe it's that Baby Spice is a baby, so she's not a woman.
She doesn't count.
I love the way you said that, though. Maybe Baby Spice.
Maybe baby.
Oh, you got to say it correctly, as Mel B would say it. Maybe Baba Spice.
You sound like Fat Bastard.
She does too. Maybe old Baba Spice.
Scary Spice is being scary.
I'm scared of Mel B, as we all should be. She's an intimidating lady. She's from Leeds. So, I asked Lauren to be our Spice World expert.
Yes.
You were very keen. I messaged you, and your response was...
a series of gifts.
And you immediately responded... No, she actually responded with, yes!
It kind of
and she said, yes, I will say this on the show.
I will do that. Do you want me to do that now?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Oh, look, Jonathan Ross. And that's how many she put in.
It's Snake Guy from Prince of Persia.
Or the guy from
Dick
the producers.
Coyle. Yeah. This, I asked you, I've had the Spice World on the list for a very long time, on our list of movies, but my biggest problem was, whom do I know that actually like Spice Girls? Because there are many girls that I know that were like, they are those people who are like, oh, I love Spice Girls, I just love them, and then they're like, oh, do you? Tell me about it, and then they're like, oh, well, I listened to him when I was young, and that's it. Like, it just ends there. Like, they haven't seen Spice World. They don't even own a CD. None of this stuff. And I'm just like, well, what? Are you a real Spice Girl fan? And then I just was like, oh, well, I just want to do it. I'll ask Lauren. It has a bunch of English people, and she'll like it on that level, even if she's not a Spice Girl fan. But then you're, like, constantly messaging me Spice Girls material, and I'm like, Lauren, calm down. It's just Spice Girls. I personally had not seen this movie before. Had you seen this movie before?
Bits and pieces, but not like the full thing.
Why not? Why didn't you see it in the cinema?
Because my parents didn't let me go.
Your parents are pussies.
Oh.
Pussies, I tell you. They should have let you seen this, because everyone knows Norm from Cheers should have been in this movie as Hollywood guy. And he is. So there you go. Did you not want to see it as a young kid for Richard E. Grant, future Oscar nominee and Posh Nosh host?
My mum loves Richard E. Grant, so I don't know why we didn't see it.
I'll tell you why. Got one word. Pussy. There's one right there on the screen. That's what I'm saying. Like, here's Roger Moore making a Blofeld reference, because he was James Bond, so it's kind of funny. So you had not seen this, but you're a big Spice Girls fan. Do you have a favourite Spice Girls song?
Ooh, I like Spice Up Your Life, actually.
Which one's that?
The end one. in the movie, guys.
Now, I am not a Spice Girls fan. I never liked them. I don't care. It's not like I hate them. It was just like, and I only know Wannabe. That's like, when I listened to this movie, I was like, none of these songs are coming at me. I don't remember them. My parents must have shielded me very great. But I will tell you, other than Wannabe, which I'll be 100% honest, I didn't really care for the version of Wannabe in this particular movie because it's a bit different.
Yeah, it was like amateurish.
Because
it was an
that's
amateurish scene, so I can appreciate
that's
that.
the point.
Yeah.
I agree, but I thought they were going to do the real rendition later, but they didn't do it.
I'll be honest, like I also thought like, oh, that's their big song, right? So
Yeah,
I thought that it would
they were
definitely
gonna-
have like a significant scene.
Yeah, I thought it would be like the last song on the
Yeah.
movie, but it wasn't. I'll tell you what one I did like, just randomly. The one where they're in Milan and they're doing like
yeah.
lots of the fist punching in the air. I don't know what that one's called. Mel B's outfit's great in this scene. She decided, that's astronaut. Just wanted to point this out. And she wears it more than once in the movie, so just got to point it out. My history with this movie is I heard of its legacy, I had heard of its reputation, but you know what I also heard a bunch of? People who genuinely like this movie, and it's mainly girls who like this movie, and girls specifically who are into Spice Girls.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
Who genuinely like this movie and kind of genuinely enjoy it for what it is, which is a just crazy random movie in which the Spice Girls go on many wacky adventures.
Nostalgia trip.
Which has a nostalgia trip, and the Spice Girls go on many wacky adventures that are just ludicrous and insane. Like the Spice Girls are all best friends in this movie, which they weren't in real life, of course. They're all best friends who just hang out in a bus, traveling around England, putting things right that once went wrong, and meeting aliens, and all of their quirky cliques and personalities bounce off each other, and their best friend is some Asian chick who's not in the Spice Girls, just to show that the Spice Girls can be friends with people outside of the Spice Girls' life.
So girls who like the Spice Girls are the people that would like this film.
It's like the movie was made for the fans. Yes.
So, okay, I see. Roger Ebert is not a young girl. Right.
Well, no, he's not. He was an elderly old man. I just want to point out there was a shot just then of a bunch of chopper chops in
right on.
in a mug. Those were obviously baby spices because she likes sucking on lollipops.
Mm-hmm.
She eats the chopper chops that I don't like, the ones that are like the cream and chocolate ones.
All right.
I hate those ones.
Those are really good.
I hate those ones. I rather a Coca-Cola flavor one.
Like
I-
a sharper flavour.
I like
Yeah,
the
of a
Coke
chop
and the
chop.
watermelon ones. Are my
Yeah,
favorites.
yeah.
I love the strawberries and cream one, the chocolate and caramel.
Yeah. No.
I'll take real chocolate. Yeah.
I'll take real chocolate, real caramel over that.
real manly chocolate.
In my Spice Girls movie, I want baby to eat real chocolate. Terrible. But I'd not been a big fan of Spice Girls, not a big fan of them, so I never saw this movie. Never really heard much other than just some of its reputation that people actually also like it. It's like that conflicting, it sucks, but it's also good. So I was really keen to see this movie because I do like me an absurdist movie. I also like the director, Bob Spears, who did Fawlty Towers
Oh, okay.
and the first episode of Leno and Woodley Adventures. So he has like a background. He wanted John Cleese to be in this movie. And once you know that it's by like a comedic British director, you can understand these sequences here a lot more. Like, yeah, this is very British. Like, isn't that the best thing about this movie? How increasingly British it becomes as it goes along. I mean, their boss is just a giant Union Jack. And it looks like a Zippo lighter.
it does.
And Mel B being unapologetically from Leeds, and Posh being unapologetically posh English. Like, I love all of them. It's kind of hard to pick a favorite one. Bartek, you not being a Spice Girls expert like Lauren, did you have a favorite one after viewing the movie? Like a particular spice that you were drawn to?
Definitely on this show, earlier on, who was your favorite character was a big question that we haven't really been delving into, but I felt like for this one it was going to come back.
Of course.
So when I was watching it, I was thinking very hard, and I surprised myself. I actually quite like Posh Spice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Yeah, it was...
We haven't seen her since Bend It Like Beckham.
Was she with Mr. Beckham?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, because when I walked into this film, I didn't remember all their spice names, and I definitely didn't know
They're
their
spice owners.
spice owners. And I was picking it up as it went along, and I got to the point where I knew everyone's except Victoria's, but I knew her name.
But she's the most popular one out of the Spice
Oh
Girls.
yeah, and I kept calling her Victoria Beckham, because that's just.
I don't know what her real maiden name was.
Yeah, what was her maiden name?
Posh
Wasn't it like Adams or something? I don't remember.
Victoria Adams. Sure, why not?
I can't remember.
So you were a Posh fan. Did you have a particular Posh moment that made it stand up from the rest?
I really liked in the military march how she just wasn't even trying. She just walked past.
And
all
she
the
also had to
obstacles.
pull down her dress all the way because it just kept running off.
I don't know, I found her really funny. It was weird.
Now we're getting into the favorite characters. Lauren, did you have a favorite Spice via their music and growing up? And is that still the favorite Spice after having seen this movie, or is it different?
I've always been a fan of Mel C.
Sporty.
Yes, Sporty Spice.
Ah.
And then I even saw her in Jesus Christ Superstar when it was doing the Arena Spectacular.
Oh yeah,
over
she played Judas, right?
No, Mary Magdalene.
Oh, okay.
But
are
I
you
just
sure?
remember I was like, she pulled off her cardigan and there were these massive biceps, and I was like, geez, you are Sporty Spice. Okay.
And she was singing "Everything's Alright" or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the one that just
Yeah.
never ends. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
So Sporty was your favorite as a
but
kid,
in this,
but in this, you got to
it
be
was
honest.
posh.
Posh.
It was posh as well.
Popular.
Wow, really? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. First off, I'll say this, and I'll let you guys answer this after this. Mel C, Sporty Spice, is the best singer in the group.
Oh, definitely.
She's the
Definitely.
standout one. She's the one that you could actually discern from the other ones. Like the others, other than
They all
Mel
sound the
B,
same,
other
yeah.
than Mel B, because she has a different accent, but the singing style is very similar. Mel C, actually, you can tell her from the others. Like when she actually sings individually, you can be like, "Oh, that's a different voice," and she's actually got this kind of unique voice. My favorite Spice Girl was Mel B. Oddly enough,
Yeah.
Scary Spice.
I actually really like Scary Spice in this movie. I'm not a big fan of Mel B as an individual. Like when I see her as a judge on things, she's just like. But in this movie, I found her very funny. I like that she was very self-aware. She's the one that I could see actually being an actor in other things other than just being Mel B. Like, Posh will always be Posh. She could only play that.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Mel B could be, like, in movies. Like, she could be, like, in other things. Like, that's...
Yes,
and I felt like she had some really good jokes in this movie. Like, I did like the line where she's like, "Does he not know him from Leeds?" And, like, Babby. Like, all of this. That being said, of course, my favorite character overall in the entire movie is standing right in front of us.
Of course, he's my favorite as well.
Which is, of course, Barry Humphries
McMaxford.
Kevin.
as Kevin McMaxford.
Kevo.
McMaxford, yeah. Who's Rupert Murdoch meets Kerry Packer. Like,
Yes.
it's a mixture of the two. Whilst also being Les Patterson, his own character. He's basically Les Patterson, his own fictional character
Yes.
based on like a Bob Hawke and co. Yeah. He's the best character in the movie. Hands
hilarious.
down. The biggest crime of the movie is he's not in the movie enough and he never leaves his office.
He only gets to interact with like 2 other actors, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Richard O'Brien and Jason Flemyng here, which is interesting in their own right, because Jason Flemyng, this is before he's kind of kicked off. Like, we all know this guy from things. Jason Flemyng, I think we might have even had him on a previous Unappreciated Masterpiece. I wouldn't be surprised if he was in, like, Agent Cody Banks 2 or something. But he's in, like, Guy Ritchie movies all the time, this guy. Like, he's underling in this movie, Barry Humphries underling. Like, he's in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and stuff. And he's just in everything. And I love this sequence here in which Barry Humphries is getting so upset that there's lightning and thunder and rain, but only on this side of the office. And like, I love
It's so cartoonish. Yeah.
the what makes it work though is the guy doesn't acknowledge it. Like, he doesn't react to it. He doesn't even verbally acknowledge what's happening, and that's what makes it work. Because if he did that, "Oh, I'm being covered in," like, it could be taking the joke over the top. Another reason why I like Mel B is this scene here. I also like Mel B's contempt for Ginger Spice. She really doesn't... I don't think any of them like Ginger Spice, if I'm honest with you. They all hate her. Is she the one that fans hate too? Because it
I
seems
don't
like
know.
everyone hates her in this movie.
Well, she's the one that like 2 months after this film like,
Quit the Spice Girls.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
She's also the one that said one time as a quote that when she was born and delivered from the womb, her first words she uttered out of the womb, just delivered, was girl power. just wanted to mention that. Now, here's the thing. So you guys, do you agree Mel C's the best singer, like the best talented one? Or
I didn't pay attention to it really, but I'll agree.
Rewatching the movie, I was like, yes, you can definitely. She got a bit of a Lady Gaga vibe as well. I was like, yep.
Definitely when they were singing, I couldn't hear their accents as much. So
except for Mel B.
Again, yeah.
Bad Bear. Bad Bear. I thought this guy was Tim Robbins for most of the movie, but then I was shocked to discover he wasn't Tim Robbins. So I was forever changed during this sequence here. This movie has everyone in it, but also no Harry Potter actors, according to Lauren, which
none.
I'm sure that there's one. There must be one extra that like played like Neville Longbottom's dad in a scene, or, like, you know what I mean? There's got to be one. I'm really fascinated by the fact that in this sequence, Richard E. Grant's wearing this green suit, and later on in the movie, he's wearing the green suit again. It's almost like this was shot, like
all in the same day.
All in the same day, yeah. Very, very, very strong film. But Bartek, what's this movie about? What's its strong thematic plot line and story beats and metaphors and character allegories? Like, is this an allegory for Vietnam?
It could be, Ryan.
Like, not the war, the country.
If we were to put it in like a very general sense, like someone asked, "Hey, what's a goal in this film that gets achieved by the end?" We could tell them, well, the Spice Girls have an upcoming concert, and at the end of the film, they get to the concert.
Is it their first ever live concert?
I think it is, yes. You could say that that's the plot of the film, but that doesn't acknowledge all the other little side dishes that are in the film, such as
like Hugh Laurie just turning up right now to play
as Poirot,
but he's also not. I don't know. I love this sequence here, but you know what I love about this sequence? How Baby Spice, who I also think could be a good actress if she wanted to be. Like, I could see her being in other things as well. How she fucks this scene up by not even doing the smile correctly. Like, you know, that the whole thing is she's doing the smile. If you watch it, this is not the smile that she's known for doing and does later in the movie. It's a completely different smile, and yet they kept it in anyway.
She's just that cute, Ryan.
Yeah, look, I'm going to be 100% honest. I'll break this one thing. I find Baby Spice kind of creepy. Like, in terms of, like, they all have their little personas, right? Like, Ginger Spice is, like... Ginger Spice will get... No, Ginger Spice isn't even the sexy one. Ginger Spice is the feminist one. Like, that's her angle, right? She's the one who's...
smart one, yeah.
She's all girl power and feminism and whatever. And then posh is posh and sporty is sporty and scary is scary and all that. Baby is kind of a weird one because it's the most fetishy one. And it's also a creepy fetishy one. Like, I was genuinely creeped out when she's telling the muscly guy that he can't get in her bed because she's got... And she lists every, like...
soft toy she has.
And it's just creepy. But here's the thing. You give it a pass because it was the 90s. You know what I mean? It was a different time
They
then.
clearly weren't going for that too, yeah.
But they were. Like, they're all sexualized.
No, I mean, like, they weren't trying to make it, like, unsettling.
You're right.
Yeah.
But it is kind of like the fact that it's a sexualization of a grown woman being all into baby attire is just like, wouldn't fly today. I mean, sometimes it does, but we wouldn't be all like, yeah, I'm Baby Spice, with her speaking in baby talk. It's kind of weird, Lauren. I do love the sequence where they're like, I don't want to be known for what I'm being known for. And then Posh is like, I'm going to be Jackie O, which is Posh of, like, decades ago. Like, good job. Oh, David Bowie reference. Good job. Oh, Grease 2 reference? No, it's Grease 1. Are you sure it's not Grease 2?
I looked at this and I'm like, oh, look, it's Sandy at the end of the film.
Are you sure that it's not Michelle Pfeiffer at the start of Grease 2?
I'm positive.
Are you HIV positive?
Yes. No!
He confirmed it.
A lot of the quiz questions that I read kept asking, like, who did this person dress up as in this? Because they had the whole thing of, like, they dressed up as each other at certain points in this.
And I will be 100% honest with you. I watched this with my fiancée, Rachel, who slightly knows the Spice Girls. Like, she's not a huge know-it-all. And I kept asking her which one was dressed as which. And I'm like, here's my big thing. I kept constantly asking, is that one Posh Spice? Because Posh is the one when she dresses up genuinely disappears. Like, I can't tell when it's Posh and when it's not. Like, this I can, because that's like a close-up. But, like, the rest of them, I'm like, is that one Posh? Is this one Posh? Like, when they fall into the water later in the movie, I'm like, is that one Posh? Like, I can't tell. Like, Posh is really, what I'm saying is, although she's iconic for her look, she's also very inconspicuous. Like, you could genuinely walk past Victoria Beckham on the street today, and you wouldn't know it was her.
What was she doing in the Spice Force 5 segment?
She was just herself. Remember, that was it. Like, what about Posh Spice? And he just goes, whoa, Posh, and then it just cuts to her.
Yeah.
And standing in front of a car doing nothing, basically. She doesn't really have a move that she does. She's just herself. We'll get into a Bob Hoskins cameo later.
I love that part so much.
I know. I wrote it down. Like, this is Bartek's favorite cameo in the movie.
I didn't even know it was him.
Oh, you didn't?
I knew he was in the film, but I guess I'm not familiar with what
He's credited as himself.
Yeah, that's
which
true,
is the
yeah.
weirdest part of the movie.
That confused me. I was like, wait, when was...
guys, we're back at Barry Humphries' headquarters. Let's give it a round of applause. Some tongue acting. I love Barry Humphries' character development is he gets to smile later, but he smiles throughout most of the movie anyway.
He just doesn't feel it.
Now, Lauren, you're a big Richard O'Brien fan, I imagine. Were you thrilled to see him in this?
That's not really him, though, is it?
Richard O'Brien? What do you mean? That's Richard O'Brien right there.
Sure.
I don't know. You're making me question. Yes, it is Richard O'Brien.
Richard O'Brien's shorter than that.
They're all sitting down.
True.
How do you know how short he is?
I'm pretty sure it's not Richard O'Brien, because in the thing it says the photographer is Dominic West.
No.
On Wiki.
No, Lauren. That's Richard O'Brien. Are you telling me that creepy bald guy is not Richard O'Brien, but in fact hunky beefcake Dominic West, who was in Johnny English 2, Reborn? Okay, Lauren's really being a contradictory person right now by suggesting that when Dominic West is credited as photographer, it means that he's credited as
the creepy guy,
as a photographer with a name in this movie. He has a name, by the way, that character, Richard O'Brien.
Like Damien, right?
Yeah.
Well, then I might be wrong, and I will admit.
I mean, you're definitely wrong. I mean, that's clearly Richard O'Brien. And your argument was he's taller than how I remember him in Rocky Horror, in which he literally hunches over because he is a hunchback.
Oh, he's
Riff Raff.
Yeah, all right.
He's also the creator of Rocky Horror.
Yeah, I knew that.
And he also created
Me.
No, the sequel to Rocky Horror that no one wants to talk about, Shock Treatment, which starred Barry Humphries in it. So it's a reunion for Barry Humphries and Richard O'Brien, but also Meatloaf is in this movie, who was in Rocky Horror as Eddie. So it's a reunion for a lot of Rocky Horror people and or subsidiaries. Jennifer Saunders was just in this movie.
Bob Geldof there.
I don't know if Jennifer Saunders is supposed to play a character from Ab Fab. I'm
I feel
not
she
sure.
Was. I feel like she was.
But she doesn't look like her character from Ab Fab.
No, but she was talking the way her character talked.
But that's how Jennifer Saunders talks. Bartek's just looking at us like, what's Ab Fab? Who's Jennifer Saunders?
I'm like, look, it's Nervous Man.
Yeah, it is. This movie has an interesting thing in which it decides not to really engage with a plot too heavily. That's a lot of people's criticism, and that it's kind of aimless. Doesn't.
Oh
really
my
have a plot.
god, what did they do to Bob Geldof?
Well, it's a foreshadowing for what Mel B's hair will be like at the end concert.
True.
It's called setup and payoff, Lauren, and that's what it was just then. I mean, why did Alan Cumming have to wear like chest hair? He complains about it at the end of the movie, but needs must. Bartek, what I was gonna ask you was, when you heard about this legacy and how you were a bit worried, like, is there gonna be an actual plot to this? Is it just gonna be a series of scenes kind of strung together?
Wasn't worried, but that's what I thought. Yeah.
When you did watch it, and there is a loose plot to this, did you commend the film?
Yeah, I definitely gave it credit for that because I wasn't...
10 stars?
Yeah. It's not that I wasn't expecting it and I thought that it'll be bad for that reason, but it's that, it subverted my expectations and, having a plot is a good way to ground the film. Like, oh, yeah, you could say, you know, there are these random scenes where, you know, they're pregnant and they have children, and then there's one with Poirot. But yeah, you can, like, kind of link what part of the plot that scene happened in.
That's true.
Even though, yeah, the Poirot thing came up because they were just talking about Baby Spice, and they could have done that anywhere, but I felt like the film progressed at a distinct enough way to help you point out things like that.
I agree. Did you have any particular standout vignettes or one piece, like or one set piece scene that was like, yeah, that's a standout moment, like the Poirot bit, or when they meet aliens, or yeah, you heard me right, listening people. The Spice Girls meet aliens, or when Stephen Fry shows up.
They get up well. I liked the final movie pitch scene where they were actually doing the things as it was happening.
With the bit where the bridge is opening up and it's like a toy bus that jumps over. Yeah,
that whole sequence was pretty great. Yeah,
it was actually really clever. Like, because this movie, for those who aren't in the know, like, there's many ways you can look at this movie. Here's how I look at it, and here's how a lot of people look at it. And I wonder if you guys agree.
I also like this part a bit.
Oh, this part?
The Pope bit.
The Pope bit's great. I was actually expecting it to pay off later.
I was hoping it would too.
But then, why would it?
Yeah.
What I was gonna say was, a lot of people look at this movie in the certain way where this movie is like all the failed pitches of what you could do for a Spice Girls movie. So randomly they're action now, and then randomly it's about the music bit, and then randomly they meet aliens, and it's like at the end during the credits you see the behind the scenes, and the screenwriter's still playing the screenwriter character. It's not like the actor. And it's kind of like this movie in its own existence is the movie that the guys created.
It's a movie inception.
It's a movie inception. Like, these are all the failed pitch attempts strung together in a movie of its own, whilst also being a commentary in the movie about how they're trying to make a movie that's just a string of failed pitch attempts. And it's just inception. Here's a NASA outfit again. Yeah. Yeah, this movie's crazy. I like the set piece moment where they meet aliens, but it was
funny. Yeah,
that's the best set piece moment. The best cameo for me is still Stephen Fry. We'll get into him later, but them meeting aliens is the most absurd
it's
premise. I love that. Like, when movies like this exist, like when a band decides they need to have a movie, right? They're always weird. They're never like traditional. Like, and this isn't even one of the ones like when we did Tommy, where Tommy's like a rock opera, or Purple Rain, where that's a rock. Where
that one's like more of an adaptation of an album, right?
Yeah. Both of those are adaptations of album. I mean, this technically is. I mean, this is their first album, right?
I think so. Yeah.
They had an album called Spice World.
Yeah, they did. They did a national tour, worldwide tour called Spice World.
Spice World. Well, yeah,
it's an adaptation of a tour, I guess.
And the thing is, it's not like this. I wouldn't say this is a musical, but yet it is, because they have songs in there. But it's not like the songs thematically reveal anything or like connect. It's one of those musicals, like you would say in the 1960s, where they just were like, "We wrote a song for you to sing, Audrey," and like that's it. Like, this is one of these movies where it's like a band decided, or someone decided this band needs a movie to market their brand and push it forward. And here's the thing. This could have been so shallow, which many people think it is. But here's the thing. No one in their right mind would have suggested that the Spice Girls movie be a commentary on how stupid it is to make a Spice Girls movie, whilst also commentating on the capitalistic nature of the music industry and the shallowness and hollowness and kind of despicable nature of fame, especially the that media, towards women in the media and all that kind of stuff, and that this system chews out women and spits them out for its own amusement, and hollows, and fame is fickle. No one would have pitched that for Spice Girls movie. It would have been exactly what they pitched in the pictures. It's like, oh yeah, they're sexy and they're gonna save the orphanage or something. But they decided, you know what this movie should be? A really weird, very British surreal comedy with commentary on really disturbing things in a very weird way.
It's your favourite song.
I did like this song where they're punching the air a lot. They're fist bumping the air. I don't know what the song's called. Is it called Come On? Lauren, you're the expert.
I think so. Sorry, I'm just focusing.
The credits will have a list of the songs, right?
Yes,
Is it called I Think So? Lauren,
Yes.
you're a big Sporty Spice fan. Did
Yes.
you appreciate her biceps in this scene?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Do you want biceps like Sporty?
No.
Why
I think
not?
they're too muscly.
Too muscly.
Mm.
I think they're pretty lean in this movie.
Yeah, but there's a point where they get too muscly.
Well, don't go to
and
that
then
point.
Yes, that's the Mel C point. I don't want them at the Mel C point. Like, I appreciate them, but I don't want them that.
You know, there's a certain
That
altitude you go onto in a mountain in which you, like, start getting delirious. That's called the Mel C point. We don't want to get to that point. Lauren, this movie's insane. Did you have a favorite little insane sequence that visited you while watching this? Especially, I was shocked to find out when you said that you hadn't actually fully seen this movie. So,
The aliens really shocked me, to be honest.
what
Just
part,
the aliens.
What part of it shocked you? Was it the fact that Ginger kissed one
Yes,
of them?
yes.
Was it the fact that the
Disturbing.
alien grabbed Mel B's boob immediately?
That whole scene.
Was it the fact that
just
they
a bit
could understand the
scary.
aliens?
Well, we're coming up to it now, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that they could understand the aliens.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, it makes sense, Bartek, because they speak all languages, the Spice Girls. They already set that up.
Well, it is Spice World.
Yeah, but not...
You come to their world, you can speak to them.
Is it like Mario Brothers? Where, you know, in Mario Brothers, it eventually goes to, like, a Mario Galaxy, and it's like you can't go any higher than that? Like, is there going to be... Here's the problem. Did Spice Girls start too high? Like, should it have been Spice Town or Spice Leeds, and then work its way up to Spice World?
Spice Street Corner?
But then work its way up to Spice Cafe. Like, should it have worked its way up to Spice World in like the 4th installment, and then Spice Galaxy, and then Spice Universe, like, and then Spice Heaven? I would have watched their version. I would have watched their version of Passion of the Christ. If they
Their
did,
accents,
With Mel C as Mary Magdalene.
no, twist it. She's Judas. Who would, out of the Spice Girls, you cast as Jesus Christ?
Well, not baby, because Jesus wasn't that young.
Oh, she could be the
Baby
manger
Jesus.
one. She could be the manger, and she grows up to be Mel B. Well, Posh Spice is clearly going to be King. What's his name?
Herod.
King Herod. Well, that's clearly Posh's role.
I want to see Posh Spice's rendition of when Jesus is carrying the cross and he looks all messy.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like he looks really good instead.
And in heels. Maybe it's one of those ones where it's like different segments of his life he's played by a different Spice Girl.
Oh, yeah,
That would be great.
I think there is like one random chapter in the New Testament where like it's Jesus as a child and like he ran away from home, but he was doing something noble. I guess that could be a section.
I would really like it if when he resurrected and he, you know, moves the big rock. that
Oh
they put
yeah,
out, okay?
the covering the tomb.
Covering the tomb. When he opens up the tomb, you just hear, "Oi!" and it's just Mel B, and she's just like, "Oi, what are you doing? Don't touch my boob!" Like,
What's the most?
"Oi, get off!"
What's the most athletic thing Jesus did?
Oh, well, walking on water. you have Mel C just like power walking on water, wearing Nikes.
Or maybe she could also be the 40 days in the desert as well.
Was that Jesus? That's Moses, right?
I think both did it.
They both did 40 days?
I think so.
Nah,
I think Moses did it with a whole bunch of people. Jesus.
yeah,
did
and
it
then
with
he
another.
wasn't allowed in.
What scared me about these aliens is their tiny faces.
Well, it didn't scare Ginger enough for her to kiss him.
On the lips, can we just
Well,
add?
that's because she's a lady. She's asked to kiss. She kisses on the lips because that's what Ginger does. Girl power. Girl power, Lauren. Girl power.
Are we sure one of these aliens wasn't in Harry Potter? It was like a house elf or something.
Oh, I thought you were going to say as Alan Rickman. Oh, and she kisses it right on the lips, as Lauren suggested that she should. This is possibly my favorite Mel B outfit, the little camo bikini hot pants outfit, because she's in the woods. So she has to wear camo.
Well, to pee, yes.
It's the only time in which her outfit makes logistical sense, and that's why I love it.
Maybe they all do wear camo later on.
Or yeah, obviously for the training
With
sequence
Mr.
where
Step.
when they had to learn how to dance. It becomes a boot camp sequence, and then it becomes a Scooby-Doo sequence when they're in the mansion and they're running around, bumping into each other. Lauren, you said before we started this that you liked Roger Moore's character.
Yeah.
And I said,
Yes.
character? And I really want you to explain to me who Roger Moore is in this movie, what he does, and why he's here.
Roger Moore is clearly the chief of the record company, who is technically Richard E. Grant's boss, and he enjoys, like, Richard E. Grant suffering.
And
And
petting
it's great.
animals.
And petting animals like cats,
And
ducks,
just knowing everything.
miniature pigs.
He gives a bottle for a miniature pig or piglet to suckle on.
I failed one of the quiz questions about him. It was like, which one of these animals did he not have?
And what one was it?
I thought he didn't have a rabbit, but
He just had
apparently
it just
yeah,
then.
I
Just
missed it.
then. So why is he in this movie though? Like, what does he do to serve the plot?
He puts the pressure on Richard E. Grant, and Richard E. Grant, therefore, as he states at the end, ruins the Spice Girls and potentially breaks them up.
Oh no, I hate when that happens to the Spice Girls. I did love this little sequence here in which the Spice Girls like fake him out by pretending that they're leaving anyway, and then they're like, I got ya, classic Spice Girls pranking.
You got spiced.
You got spiced girled up, wannabe. I liked Roger Moore in this. I like the fact that they had the gravitas of having a James Bond in this, doing James Bond references. My favorite little moment with him, I don't know about you, Bartek, but when Richard E. Grant is saying, like, you know what, I'm going to give them a day off. I don't care what he says. I'm going to allow it. And then he gets a phone call. It's like, no, you're not. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, like I said, I like that he knew things without having heard them.
He's omniscient.
Yes.
He's Charlie. Like in Charlie's
Yeah,
Angel,
yeah.
but you actually get to see him, unlike in Charlie. It's Angels, you don't get to see Charlie. That's the whole point. But you do get to see Roger Moore walking around in his weird mansion. I did like the trivia fact that Richard E. Grant would, because Roger Moore was only on for one day of shooting. Richard E. Grant got his day off to sit there and read the lines to him when they were on the phone. Apparently, Roger Moore really appreciated that. I thought it was really great of him. And I'm like, well, come on. I really love the fact that Posh Spice of all people, was really proud to have Roger Moore in this movie so she could get an autograph off of him.
Oh, that's good.
Which, because mainly the trivia facts, and this is the one sad thing about movies sometimes, is there's a corporate nature to movies. There's a cynical edge to movies, and this is very inherent in this movie. Some might say in many obvious ways, but one of them is unfortunately the fact that most of the actors in this movie admit that they did it either for money and autographs for Spice Girls for their children and or nieces or
autographs
nephews.
on behalf of other people.
And it's just like Richard E. Grant's one of those people. Stephen Fry is like, all these people just admitted like, yeah, nah, I don't give a fuck about being in this. I did it for money and autographs. And it's just like, oh, what a bummer. I thought you did it for the love. Like Elton John, he seems like to do it for the love because he was their friend in real life.
What about the guy who got cut out of the film?
Oh,
Maybe
you
he
mean
did it for
Jason
love.
Isaacs?
No, the one that like they cut him out because of like pedophile charges.
Oh, you mean Gary Glitter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's Gary Glitter?
You don't know Gary Glitter?
No.
Good. Just live in that world where you
Okay.
don't know who Gary Glitter is.
He was meant to be in the Milan scene,
Yeah,
was it?
Gary Glitter was a pretty well-known British musical figure, and he got convicted just before this movie came out of being like a child molester. This movie was plagued with bad luck like that. Like just before the movie came out, they also had to cut out references to Princess Diana because she had died,
Yeah.
and Versace because he had died.
Because he died.
And it was just like plagued with bad luck in that regard, but the movie still works. It's still comprehensive. Here's Bartek's favorite Posh moment in which she is gargantuan in comparison to the others because she's wearing heels.
Yeah, this was the moment where I'm like, I think I like her the best.
She looks like she could eat them. She's just that much bigger than them in this sequence, but it's just because she's wearing heels. Lauren, was this your favorite side character guy?
Mr. Step?
No.
Why not? Are you a racist?
Was it a
No.
misstep?
No.
Why didn't you
Side
like?
character-wise, I like Alan Cumming. He's just like a try-hard who just fails miserably. It's great.
He's arrogant too.
Yeah.
I think my favorite comedy moment comes from Alan Cumming as well, other than Stephen Fry, which is when he's interviewing the kids. Yep, and then microphone just whoosh away, and then they're like, "How's the sound for that?" A bit over the place. Like, oh, we don't need them.
We'll cut it out anyway.
We'll cut it out anyway. Poor posh Spice. She has to walk and keep pulling that dress down. She just cannot keep that dress down. She has to walk, power walk. You think
In stilettos on grass.
that
trying
would
not
be
to
that would
sink.
be the worst. Walking with stilettos on like soil would be like the fucking worst. But I
And
did
if it's
give...
England, it's
Oh.
going to be moist, so you're just going to sink in immediately.
Hear that, Posh? Moist. My big complaint later in the movie was Posh said that she couldn't run in heels when she's on the pavement, and I thought if anyone in the Spice Girls could run in heels,
It would be posh.
it would be Posh. And I wonder. I didn't look this
It's
up in the
because
IMDb.
she's so posh.
I didn't look this up.
Need to
She
run.
doesn't need to run. That's actually a good point because I was gonna say I hope in the IMDb comment section in like the in the goofs there would be someone that's like anachronistic. Posh Spice not being able to run in like character mistake or something like Posh Spice not being able to run. So you're telling
she
me
does
that
run,
this
yeah.
isn't Richard
Okay,
Richard
now
O'Brien?
I believe you.
Are you telling me
Now
that
I
this
believe
creepy,
you.
bald weirdo isn't Richard O'Brien?
Now
Are you
yes,
sure?
yes,
The one
okay.
who's dressed up in all leather and black, covered in toilet water, isn't Richard O'Brien. I did make a joke earlier when I was watching this in my notes. I was just very amused with myself where I was like, Richard E. Grant's nemesis is Richard O'Brien.
It's two of the vowels.
Oh my god.
What does the O stand for?
Well, it's one of those ones where that's just his last name, though. I don't know what the E stands for. Maybe it does stand for Ernest. I like that's the only option it could be. I can't think of any other E male name at the
Yeah,
top of my
there's
head
nothing
now.
common like Edward.
No. She put Ernest there, and I'm like, well, I can't think of any other
To be
option.
fair, I like Ernest.
I actually want to know what it does stand for.
There's like Edwin.
So Bartek,
Yes.
tell us about.
Edmund even.
It could be Edmund. It could be Alfred. Who knows?
Alistair.
Bartek.
Yes.
Well, other than Wannabe, did you tell us what your favorite song in this movie was?
I don't know the name, but it's the one. It's already played. It's the Stop Right Now. Thank you very much.
It's just called
That one.
Stop Right Now.
Okay, Stop Right Now.
No, keep singing it. I want to
I
hear
need
your lovely
somebody
voice.
with a human touch.
Hey, you.
Always. Is it on the run or having fun?
On the run.
Always on the run. Gonna
Gotta slow it down, baby, and have some fun.
Da, 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 da,
Is it bad? I know dance moves for this.
It actually
No.
is bad that you know dance moves for this. I'm going to tell you it
Well,
is.
the guy who isn't podcaster Spice thinks it's bad.
I am real guy Spice. That's my
Oh,
name.
Okay.
I want to know what the E stands for in Richard E. Grant. Damn you! While I'm looking this
It's gonna
up,
be like Homer J. Simpson's, just E, 3 E's.
Richard E. Grant really loses his shit through this scene. Like out of all the scenes, this is the one. He literally tries to choke her bunny to death, and she's like, "No."
I could definitely see some people like being on his side because he is, he is doing his job.
Do you want to know who was on his side? Me. When I was watching this last time, I kept
Ryan
saying
Me Grant.
Richard E. Grant is absolutely correct in his anger towards these ladies right now.
No, but remember, there's a scene later on where they admit that he's the one that lost.
He is.
I lost that fight, he said, I think.
Well, fun fact.
Yes?
I looked up the wrong Richard E. Grant. I looked up the paleontologist Richard E. Grant, who doesn't tell me what the E stands for in his name either, which is just an interesting thing to point out.
Maybe that's the answer, either.
Oh
Was someone
my
What is
God! It's not even his middle name.
What is it?
It's his real last name.
Oh, so
What?
Grant isn't his last name?
His name is Richard Grant Esther Hewson? Esther, I don't know how to pronounce this. Yeah.
Esther Huysen?
Here, let me have a look.
He's a Swazi
I'm the
English
Dutch
actor.
one.
He's
Let
a
me have a look.
Swazi English actor. So,
So what's Swazi? I mean,
I can't remember off the top of my head.
He's South African as well.
Like Freddie
okay.
Mercury.
Right.
So that's what the E stands for. Fun fact, not his last name, but his actual real last. Not his middle name, but his real last name.
Esther Huysen.
Not South African. He was born in Swaziland.
Yeah.
Um,
Spice Force 5 is happening right now. Just need to point out that this is also one of the greatest moments ever, because this is their Charlie's Angels whilst also being Fox Force 5 from Pulp Fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Where they all have their special talent, which we gotta love Ginger's talent, which is just becoming Bob Hoskins.
that got a really good laugh out of
And
me.
he talks about feminism. I did love this gag. Where she's like espionage and all. Yes. And then Mel B probably is the lamest one. It's just like, stock footage.
Hey, Michael Bay was inspired by it.
Stock footage, and then she goes, oh no!
Oh wait, this was the same year as Armageddon, right?
Yeah, and then Master of Disguise, which is... Okay, my fiance asked us, and I don't have a genuine answer, which is, does Ginger Spice not like wearing pants? Because her outfits are mainly ones where her ass cheeks are hanging out.
Well, she's wearing them now.
Girl power, equalization between the sexes. I wonder how Bob Hoskins felt dubbing that line.
And here we go, Victoria's bit.
Oh, and Victoria.
Well,
this is just hers, and she goes meow. Like, it's not even her saying it; it's an actual cat dubbed over her, going meow.
I think I read a trivia point that in the trailer for this film, which even though I gathered comments from it, I didn't watch it. The Bob Hoskins bit, it's his actual voice saying it.
Well, I'm happy with it just being Ginger's voice because it's disconcertingly weird,
uncanny,
and creepy. I do love how shit his documentary looks.
Yeah, it's very, very blue.
This is a great scene. This is such a great scene.
You mentioned it a minute ago, yeah.
Look at this. Just...
Even, you know what? Even without the sound, just how quickly he doesn't even, like... The microphone doesn't even stand still.
Yeah, and also, it does sound like they actually recorded it on that microphone, too. Like, the way it just sounds so good. Oh, God, this movie was... weird, to say the least. It was so surreal. Do you wish that they made more movies like this?
There needs to be more films that just...
are a bit too absurd, but they're enjoyable. Yes.
You don't just need straight-up stories. I don't think.
I asked this on Tommy. I'll ask this on this as well. What band or musical group that exists currently deserves a movie like this, or just in general deserves a movie in which it's about them being a band or musical group?
Well, back in the day, I would have said One Direction.
Why not now? They're too
They've
old.
broken up.
Are they?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you 100% sure?
Yes,
on
I'm
this?
100% sure.
Breaking news, guys.
Didn't they have a film?
Apparently One Direction... No, their film was one of those ones where it's like, hey, we did a gig.
Oh,
And
right.
here's the gig. Justin Bieber also had one of those.
Oh, the Never Say Never.
Yeah, and so did Michael
Never.
Jackson.
And so did
This
the
is
Glee
it. Well, that was
cast.
after he died, right?
Yeah, this is it. But that was in...
Oh, right, it was a
being
concert he
made.
was- yeah,
He was
that's
being
right.
made. You're thinking about...
If now, there is another girl band in Britain, which is quite big.
You mean Lady Band?
Yes. Little Mix.
They must be so big, I've never heard of them. Do they have a song that's iconic as Wannabe?
Yes. I just can't think of it right now.
It reminds me of when we did our play in University of Soviet Western, where it says like our main character has a line, something along those lines, where it's like, but I can't do it right now.
What was that line?
So you don't have any options, basically, is what you're telling me, Lauren. You called me a band that
Little Mix, it'd be a good
What
one.
would their movie be? Would it just be
It'd
Spice World?
Yeah, basically, it would be another version of Spice World, I think.
Here's the thing I gotta ask too, Bartek. You're not really familiar with music, so I imagine you don't have a great answer for this. I am not as familiar with modern music, but just to wing it, I'd like to have Justin Timberlake and the rest of NSYNC come back together. He was in NSYNC, right?
Yeah.
To come back and do a movie together about them coming back together, and it would just be Boy Town 2. But here's the thing. I love movies where bands make movies just because there's no guidelines. Like, there's no need for 3-act structures or character development. It's just whatever we can throw at the wall. Whatever we want, we'll just put it there. But this is very different to, say, when we did Tommy, because Tommy was based on a concept album by The Who.
And it definitely had like a running story the whole way through.
And The Who, no offense to Spice World, are considered to have more artistic merit, because the Spice Girls existed in this period of time which was manufactured bands, like NSYNC, like Backstreet Boys, like Spice Girls, where it was this corporate mandate that we have to have a bunch of attractive people in a band to sell albums, right? Like these girls formed as a group because they answered an ad in a newspaper which was, we want to make a girl band, like be in this group if you're hot, and that's how they got formed. Like the music label manufactured these pop stars.
Thank you, Simon Cowell.
Thank you, Simon Cowell. But here's the thing. Is that era over now? Because I can't think of anyone since really One Direction and maybe the Jonas Brothers since then.
The Jonas Brothers are getting back together.
Yeah, but, the Jonas Brothers are even still different because they were already musically doing things. Same with Justin Bieber. Like, they weren't manufactured by a music industry, but One Direction was.
They were one X Factor. Yeah, they got put together by Simon Cowell.
Yeah, exactly. So is that era over now? Because we really don't have these super groups that are manufactured. Like you have to have this persona. Like Harry in One Direction, you're the one with the hair, and Nigel, you're the embarrassing
Nigel,
one. And
Niall.
I don't fucking care. But you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like you have to have, you're the one who's got the tattoos, and you're the one who's hot and edgy. You're the one who's kind of nerdy.
And you're Scary Spice.
And you're Scary Spice because you're black. And, we don't have that now. Do you think that's true?
I think it's true. You see a lot of people coming up more through the
actual work.
Yeah, the actual work in like the independent music scene, and then getting recognized by a big label and getting signed
or you
that
get
way.
ones that are just individual musicians. Like there's that teenage girl, Billie
Eilish.
Yeah,
she's got independent support.
but
independent, but big.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's a downside if we don't have that anymore, because there was a charm to watching a big music industry create these products that are so out of touch. Like Spice Girls, like I said, I'm not a fan, and many people are, but I think what I like about them, even though not being a fan, is how instantly dated they were. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when their albums came out, it was like, this album's not going to last outside of this decade. Like, you listen to a Spice Girls album now, you're like, whew, it's tripped down memory lane to 1990s. It's not, like, fresh and current. Like, you like, say, like a Rolling Stones album, it still sounds like from the 70s, but it still sounds fresh. These girls and these bands just exist, like, as time capsules. To the point in which in this shot they can barely get Posh Spice's face not being covered by Baby's hair. I just want to point that out when you watch this. Like, Baby's hair is blocking her face for most of it. And it's weird because in this movie, I don't know about Spice Girls' legacy or mythology, but I always knew Posh as the big one, right? Posh is the one that was like Victoria Beckham.
Posh is the one who was bigger afterwards because she dated and then later married David Beckham, and then
I thought she was the
and...
popular one though. I thought she was like the big one. But then when you watch the movie, it seems like Ginger Spice is like the lead one. The lead of the Spice Girls. I always thought Posh was the lead.
No, I always thought Jerry Halliwell and Mel B were kind of the
Mel B?
top two. Yeah.
So does that mean like Posh Spice was the breakout hit?
Yeah, she's the one that's had longevity. I mean, we know her for one.
Yeah, well, she was the one whose name I knew.
Exactly, because she's a Beckham now. Oh, David Beckham. But I find them interesting because both of them are still in the spotlight, but not very much.
They're very private.
Which is weird because they seemed very early on, like during this period of time and when they first got married, very attention-seeking. Like, I'm doing my fashion brand. Everyone needs to know about it. I'm David Beckham. I am in underwear now. We need to know, but now they're very private.
Very private, maybe because they have a family.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
But who would have thought that Posh Spice out of the Spice Girls would be the less attention-seeking one? Because Mel B's out there flogging herself.
Jenny Craig.
Flogging herself, just like whoring herself out for attention. Which this movie even says happens. Like, that Stephen Fry scene is so haunting because that's exactly what happened to them all. Like, that scene is so great because it's like, it makes you go, did the Spice Girls, were they aware? Do you think the Spice Girls do you think they were self-aware of what they were?
I mean, considering that we've been praising this film for being, like, having all this commentary about the entertainment industry and all that, I would imagine that there was a certain degree of that, and even in like the trivia when we were talking about the Gary Glitter thing, it specifically said that they and some of the people higher up decided to cut that scene out. So that clearly implies that they had a say in this film.
Well, yes, they created the story themselves.
But it's like there's that TV show that's on Netflix, that anime that Jaden Smith and the guy from Vampire Weekend made, Neo Yokio. And it's like, the big question with that show is, and Jaden Smith also wrote it, is Jaden Smith aware that it's a piss take? Or does he think it's a genuine anime that he made? Like, it's hard to say, because with musicians like the Spice Girls, when you get this preconception of them, or what they perceive to give you, which is they seem all kind of ditzy and vain and kind of, you know, generic pop stars with no kind of self-awareness, you go, are they self-aware? Like, when they have a scene in which Stephen Fry sings to them, do they laugh afterwards and they're like, yeah, that's going to happen? Or do they think that's like a funny joke because that would never happen to them because they're the Spice Girls? These are the things I wonder. These are the things that keep me up at night. It also keeps me up at night that Brian never returns. Like, this guy never returns. They never find him. They ruin his life. Like, isn't
By
that...
scamming coffee off him.
I really did think he was going to play into something.
Like, when they go to the place, it's all abandoned, it's for lease, and it's like this place that they've ruined because of their, like, you know, taking advantage of him and then becoming famous and never actually helping him out. I thought there's going to be a payoff to that, where they're like, maybe he's at the gig and they're like, oh, Brian, where are you? And he's like, oh, things have gotten good or whatever. We never see him again. Honestly, he could be dead. Isn't that depressing?
Maybe he's locked inside the cafe.
Maybe he's homeless.
Maybe he's homeless. Think about that when they sing Wannabe next time. Just poor old Brian on the streets begging for change, and Posh Spice walks past in her heels, and he goes, oh, Victoria, Victoria, and she's like, out of my way, scum, and she just keeps walking. Think about that next time you hear, oh, really, 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 really want to zig, ah.
If you want to be my lover, tell me where Brian is.
Why do you think this is their standout song, Lauren? Especially you being an expert.
Zigazay, huh? That's my answer.
Is that it? Do you think
Yeah.
it's that phrase? Zig-a-zig-ah?
No, because I think the lyrics are so bizarre. Like, if you want to be my lover, you've got to get with my friends. Which, who does that?
Well, Lauren, you tell us. You've got friends. Did you
Yes.
get your lover because he got with them?
No.
Are you sure though?
Yes, I'm
100%?
sure. I'm 100%
Well, I've got some news for you. We're your friends. He got with us, so I don't know.
I don't know any of Lauren's lovers.
Well, remember that guy who came around and had you? That was her lover. Who got with you?
Sounds dirty, Ryan.
No.
To answer your question, though, Ryan, I have a question in return.
Okay.
Which Spice Girls song was in Chicken Little?
You got me there.
Exactly.
You got me there.
It was Wannabe.
It was Wannabe. Disney recognizes this song's quality. I don't know. Like, I think it's because this song, out of all of them,
It's the catchiest.
it's the most upbeat sounding. Like, the rest of them are still upbeat, but they've kind of got that aggressive energy to them. Like, this song feels...
Except my favorite one.
Which was...
So stop right now. Thank the...
Oh, yeah, but that one sounds annoying.
Oh. The one that Ryan asked me to
sounds
sing to
so-
hear my voice is the annoying one.
Bartek seems so disappointed.
I'm blushing, but out of sadness.
On the inside. I like how Baby Spice wears these, like, platform boots that are, like, 10 inches tall, yet she's still a short ass. How tall is Baby Spice? She is the size of a baby. She's the size of a baby.
Ryan, there was a sign on the side of the building that said "To Let."
So, I got a big question. Everyone asks this. You know, the what Spice Girl are you?
Mm-hmm.
But before I ask that, I want to ask, we're all actors. We've all studied acting.
We've all got a degree.
Now,
in
remove your thing of, oh, me personally, I would be this Spice Girl. But come at it as an actor and be genuine. Which Spice Girl would you be cast as in this movie? If you went to an audition, who do you think you would be
Baby.
playing? You would be Baby, would you?
Yeah.
Okay, Bartek, think about this. Which Spice Girl would you be? You walk into the audition, I'm Bob Spears, and I'm like, all right, Bartek, which Baby, which not Baby Spice are you?
Well, I'm overweight, so I probably won't be Sporty Spice.
You'd be Stephen Fry Spice.
No, I'm Podcaster Spice, but that's probably not going to be an acceptable answer. That's a really good question.
Why you mull it over? Let's just appreciate how Stephen Fry's playing his Melchard character from season 4, but saying lines like, "Your meats aren't as fat as they used to be," and call Hootie and the Blowfish, which were real.
Apparently,
In the version I watched, he said call Gary,
Glitter.
not Gary Glitter, Gary, what's his face? Gary...
Newman?
Not Newman. What is it? He's really big in the UK.
yeah, that's what I was about to bring up. The trivia point that for the American version they changed it to Hootie and
Gary
the Blowfish.
Barlow. Gary Barlow.
I don't know who Gary Barlow is.
Gary Barlow, he was with in Take That with Robbie Williams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the British version they said him instead of Hootie and the Blowfish.
But which do you prefer hearing Stephen Fry say, Gary Barlow, or him saying, Hootie and the Blowfish?
Gary Barlow.
it kind of sounded like he was saying Hootie.
Yeah, but it's so great because Steve Fry. So which Spice Girl are you? So I'm the casting director. You're giving me a great monologue. It's like, say you've come in to read a Hamlet monologue, and I'm like, he's really nailing this. This is a Spice Girl he would be. Who do you genuinely think you would be cast as in terms of your acting? It's hard.
Maybe Ginger Spice.
You would be Ginger, and
Maybe.
deep down, I know I would be posh. I would play Posh Spice. I like playing arrogant characters.
Yeah.
But the thing I liked about her was she was arrogant, but like not too arrogant.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Are you really sure?
very.
She's really mean to Ginger.
I know, yeah, but like in the group scenes, like she does have that attitude, but it's not taken too far. I felt, and I found that really engaging.
Now, Elvis Costello's in this sequence here. What a hero. We all love Elvis. Not Elvis Presley, of course. Elvis Costello, Bartek. I mean, obviously. Bartek, talking about which Spice Girl are you, we did find a quiz.
And I'm the only one at the moment who's finished it.
Which Spice Girl did you turn out to be?
Which one do you think I am?
Ginger, right?
No,
It's posh.
no,
Sporty.
no.
Mel B, you're scary.
Wow, the one that you didn't guess at all was the answer, right?
It's
I'm
Baby
Baby
Spice.
Spice.
Fuck. I wouldn't have guessed it.
Well, it was literally your
Now,
fifth guess.
I didn't do this quiz that Bartek sent me, but I did the BuzzFeed quiz, and I was Ginger Spice, and that's where I learned that bit where she apparently said she was born and she said girl power, because it literally had like a little video of her saying that in an interview. Fun fact, Lauren, did you do what I did, which was look up the Spice Girls for preparation for this?
No.
Well, fun fact, before we even get into trivia, breaking news, Spice Girls fans. Mel B said recently, as of recording this interview 24 hours ago, she said, and this is true,
24 hours ago?
24 hours ago of recording this, because I just looked it up,
Right.
in breaking news, and Ginger Spice confirmed it, that Mel B and Ginger Spice have had sex together many times.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually a genuine
What?
thing. And there's an interview with Piers Morgan where he's very gross about it. He's just like pushing her to answer it, and Mel C's just in there like, this is the first time I'm hearing about this, and Mel B's like, come on, really? And then Piers is like, were you the dominant one? And he's just, and Mel B's like, don't be a pervert. But apparently. And Mel B says something like, Jerry's going to be so angry at me because now she's like a posh bird living in like a mansion with a husband. But it's all true. And then Ginger apparently confirmed this. So, breaking news for those lesbian Spice Girls fans. Confirmed.
Scary and Ginger.
Scary Ginger. But Lauren, we do have a Which Spice Girl Are You quiz here.
Okay, are we going to do it? Am I going to do it?
You're going to do it.
Do it live.
Do you have a presumption of which one you're going to be?
I mean, she said she'd be cast as Baby.
No,
so...
but like that's
I
when
feel
she's
like I'm
in the
gonna
movie.
get Mel B though.
You feel like you're going to be scary.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, here we go. Your best friend just broke up with her boyfriend. She has spent the whole week crying. You, ... go over to her house and let her cry all she wants. You call up the jerk and spend an hour telling him how horrible he is. Your friend was listening on the other line and she burst into laughter. Mission accomplished! You take her out for some retail therapy. Nothing says, I'm over you, like a few bags of the latest fashion. You show up at her house with a pair of ice skates and the two of you go to the lake. She cheers up instantly and promises not to let him bother her anymore. Wait.
Oh, there's another option.
Or,
Okay.
because there's
It's
5
each.
of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
5 for every question, I
Or
believe.
tell her he was not the guy for her and that the world is full of opportunities.
B.
So you're gonna be scary. You're actively trying to be scary.
No, I'm not.
Spice.
That's legit what I'd do.
You would not. You would not.
You don't know.
I know.
That's the
you.
phone one, right?
Yeah. So the season you enjoy the most is winter, autumn. You like them all equally. Summer or spring.
Autumn.
Oh, you're gonna definitely be scary, Spice. She's a winter girl. I'm just telling you that now.
I picked summer.
I would be spring. That's when I'm born, baby.
I was born autumn, but I picked summer.
Okay. Lauren, next question. 3 of 12, might I add.
Okay.
Your boss is so pleased with your last presentation that she gives you an extra long weekend. You are glad for the break and just veg out for the weekend. You get the gang together for a party. That's definitely not Lauren. You go on a shopping spree with your BFF. You go on a romantic getaway with your sweetie. Or you decide to go to work anyway. There's so much to do and you are the best one to do it.
D.
Yeah, that's D. So you would be romantic getaway.
Yeah.
Okay. That's Lauren for... What did you write, Bartek, for that one? Romantic getaway with a sweetie?
Was that the one that had an option to just be myself or something?
Veg out, yeah.
Probably that one.
When nobody is looking, you eat a bag of potato chips and have a soda, but just once a month? What? When nobody is looking, you are pretty much the same person. You love yourself and you are true to yourself. When nobody is looking at you, you watch The Notebook and cry over the thought of one true love. You take a bubble bath, shut your eyes, and do nothing but relax. Or you put on sweats. Not pants, just sweats. And don't put on any makeup. Everyone deserves to have a nothing day.
B. No, the bubble bath one.
The bubble bath one, D.
Yeah.
I actually don't know which one you're going to get now. Like, I'm genuinely like, where's Lauren going to fall
Well,
on
if you're
this?
having a bath, you're not going to be sweaty, so you're not sporty.
So, you are most comfortable when you are wearing fashions right off the runway. You completely obsess over all the new lines and spare no expense to get them first. You are most comfortable when you are wearing baby doll tees and jeans. Comfort is important to you. You are comfortable when you are wearing something short and sexy. The attention makes you feel great, and damn, you're hottie. You are most comfortable when you're wearing a professional skirt suit. You're looking like a sexy authority figure. Or you feel really comfortable when it's track suits and runners. You love to go jogging and work out.
The one with the baby tee and jeans.
Oh, you're really going to go for Baby Spice, aren't you?
I didn't pick that one. I got Baby Spice. So.
What did you pick? Probably something sexy and short. I know you.
Either that one or the last one. But
So,
not because I like
Lauren, your
Yes.
in-laws just called. They're only 10 minutes away, and you are stopping over for an impromptu visit. You are pleasantly surprised and wait for them on the front porch. You have no worries. You have the same maid that your mother-in-law has, so the house is impeccable. You work your natural charm so perfectly that the mess you call your home goes unnoticed. You dash around like a mad woman, throwing clutter in closets and under couches. Or you know that they are going to find something to critique, but they gotta come over sometime.
The crazy running around one.
Yeah, that's definitely you. You're a mad lady. I think she's going back to Scary Spice.
Mad Spice.
Just to interrupt this quiz for a second, I did love the scene here in which they are helping deliver a baby, and is just a nurse. And I love that the woman says, their friend goes, I think it's time. And the nurse just runs over and goes, it is! Like, that was one of my favorite little bits. But Lauren, next question. The technological advance you appreciate the most is a jet ski. You love cruising as fast as you can, feeling the water spray in your face. The technological advance you appreciate the most is Botox and Photoshop. Both are going to keep you looking young for a very long time. The one you appreciate most is cell phones. You can reach whomever you want, whenever you want. The one you appreciate most is the internet. You would go totally berserk without being connected. Or digital cameras.
The internet.
No. Can we just appreciate that it's just digital cameras, all lowercase? It's
no poeticism about it.
Just digital cameras.
You can't beat the internet.
So, Lauren, your brother needs you Okay. Sorry, this one's really well written. Your brother needs you babysit your niece on your day off so he can go work. She is home from school with the flu. You read her stories all day and comfort her. By the time your brother comes home, she's feeling much better. You rush over and bring your Hannah Montana DVD collection. Who's the best auntie? You say you don't want to get sick either and suggest he take the day off. You definitely do not deal with puking kids well. You spend the day cuddling with her, even though she throws up on you a few times. Hey, it's not her fault. Or you make a health shake for her full of the most essential vitamins and realize it wasn't the best thing to give a kid who is vomiting.
A.
Oh, really? You would read stories. What stories would you read, Lauren?
Spice World, the novelization.
The entire Harry Potter series.
Well, you're Stephen Fry now.
Yes.
Okay, Lauren, this is a real good one. The perfect man for you is someone athletic and strong. He's got to be able to keep up with you and know how to rock climb and not be afraid to jump out of a plane with you. He needs to be intelligent and has goals. You want someone who wakes up and sees the potential the day brings. Or you could have someone who likes to have fun and gets along with all your friends. If he can't get with your friends, he's not the guy. It could also be sweet and romantic. You want someone to bring you flowers for no reason and write poetry about you. Aww. Or the final one, rich and powerful and gorgeous. You want life of luxury and that's just the way it's gonna be.
Intelligence.
Really? You want intelligence? Jeez, Lauren. Wow.
You're making all the dumb people sad.
You're making really dumb people sad. Okay, Lauren, you've just found out that your best friend is having a baby. You prepared for this?
Yep.
So you're finding out that your best friend is having a baby. Okay.
Hey, Brian?
You are ticked because she broke the no kids rule, but as long as she doesn't expect you to change any diapers, you can learn to deal with it. You start waiting on her hand and foot and remind her of the importance of a well-balanced meal. You cry. You are so happy for her. This is what she has always wanted for her whole life, and you can't wait to hold that precious baby in your arms. You scream and hug her. Now you'll have someone to spoil. Yeah. Or you congratulate her and then start doing parenting research and give her all of the information.
It's definitely the last one.
You're the worst.
That's the one I picked.
That would be the fucking worst. That's the fucking worst one.
It's because I didn't want to do any of the other things. Like, I don't want to scream.
Okay, Lauren. Your mother convinces you to go see a fortune teller with her. Does this sound like your mum?
No, I do it by myself anyway.
Do you see fortune tellers?
I've seen one before, yeah.
What did they tell you? You have to tell us. And did it come true?
They said I'm going to be big in the, like, corporate world.
Oh, I thought they were just like, you're going to be big. That's really mean of them. You're going to be big. Okay, Lauren. Huge. The fortune teller tells you some horrible things about your future. You have a moment where you almost believe the fortune teller, but then your common senses come back. You smile politely and tell your mum it's time to go. You only went there because your mum wanted you to. This stuff is just as reliable as horoscopes and personality quizzes. Give me a break. You don't believe it for a second. This stuff is so fake that it's ridiculous. You demand she give your mum her money back and then walk out of this place without a second glance. You hand her a $20 bill and ask her to see if she can predict something a little nicer for you. You don't believe in this kind of stuff, but it doesn't hurt to cover your bases? That's like a question. Or you cry uncontrollably all the way home and tell your mother your life is ruined. Why did she take you there? Lauren?
A, the first one. Believe it for a little bit, then use your common sense and go, no, it's not going to happen.
You're really going to be that person?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's realistic, because, like,
Okay.
the whole thing is that it's all believable,
Okay.
random stuff.
Last one, Lauren. Last one. This is the one that you really need to think about real hard.
Question 12.
You ask your friend to be brutally honest and tell you something you can improve about yourself. She says, or me, it could be me saying this, so just factor that in.
No,
Lauren.
she says, Ryan.
Maybe you have a teensy flair for the dramatic. Oh my god, she thinks you're a freak. She says, what's to improve? You are a masterpiece of perfection. Just what you thought, but it's nice to hear. She says, you need to be more assertive. You nod quietly and fight back the tears. You need to relax a bit. That night, as you run on the treadmill, you wonder what she means. Or you're a bit of a perfectionist, and then you think to yourself, and that's a flaw?
The last one, the perfectionist one.
Oh, you're going to be definitely Scary Spice. I'd like it if it came up with your Richard E. Grant.
I love the policeman's line in this scene, where he's like, and you scare the pigeons.
Oh, this is a random one. Which website do you like to go shopping for cosmetics, Lauren? Maya, Sevilla, David
I think
Jones,
that's
or none of the above?
I think that's an ad, Ryan. 'cause I
That's
didn't
an
answer
ad,
that.
right?
No, it says to answer this, you have to do this. I'm gonna.
I didn't have to do that.
Tough shit, Bartek. We're finding
Okay, well,
out.
it doesn't matter.
5 stars. Yes. Yes.
Dude, I just got the answer.
Get
when I
results.
got submitted.
Hurry up. Hurry up. We're analyzing responses. Oh my god. You're Scary Spice. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it, Lauren. I knew you're going to be Scary Spice. I just knew it from the very beginning.
Is it because I said I was going to be
It's because you're black.
Like Hermione.
You're exactly like J.K. Rowling's Hermione. She should have been played by Mel B. But still like Daniel Radcliffe.
Well, that makes a Harry Potter actor in the film.
I would love it if Harry Potter had Mel B as Hermione, but like when she was still like 11 years old or whatever, or 12 years old, and she's just like, "Oi, Harry, you baby, get out of here!" And she's just like running
Babby
around.
who lived.
The baby lived. Oh, jeez, Louise. So this movie is a crazy fun time to the point in which Richard E. Grant suggests suicide. Big
Public suicide.
public
too.
suicide. Big question: is this a kids movie?
No.
But who are the Spice Girls' biggest fans?
Tweens.
They're
Therefore
kids.
not children.
They're kids.
They're in between.
They're kids. They're kids. They're kids, Lauren.
What's your definition of kids and tweens, fellas?
Well, tweens are kids.
Yeah, but like, it's a distinction, though.
I didn't make that distinction.
Yeah, but it is a distinction.
Is it a certifiable distinction that they literally, like, oh, you go from child to tween to teen to adults? Is that like how Pokemon evolution works? Or is tween just a new phrase that we've just used because they're
Well, it's-
demographic
No, it's
to
called
market?
prepubescent.
Well, it's a slang term, kind of, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean something. Like,
I still call them children.
like tweens, what, like 11, 12?
Yeah, 11, 12,
I
13,
call-
14. I think up to 14.
14, 13 literally has the name of it in the title. Teen.
I think in psychology terms, it goes like infant, which is like up to 2 years old, early childhood up to 6, late childhood up to 12, teenager up to like 18 or 20, I can't remember, young adult till 35, middle-aged adult till like 65, and then old adult.
You mean
after that.
elderly?
Yeah.
Did you hear tween in any of those? That's right.
Well, like I said, it's a slang term, but it still means something.
Sorry. Norm from Cheers is dancing to Spice Girls, and I just need to appreciate the fact that here's the thing that I don't get. Why is Norm from Cheers
And
in
also
this?
there's that one extra that keeps breaking character, and it really frustrated me.
Is that extra cold, Lauren?
No, she just kept looking up, going, oh, they're filming up there. Oh, right, I'm meant to be dancing. La, la, la,
We were
la,
talking
la.
about if this is a kid's film.
Yeah, is this a kids movie? Because Lauren, don't debate me about tweens. Just like, is this movie directed towards young girls?
Yes.
But at the same time, it has really weird, disturbing,
and it sexualizes
sexual and suicide, and has gags that only adults from the 90s would enjoy. So, and
No,
Meatloaf.
it's a kids movie that
It is
they
it?
are appealing to the parents who are obviously going to go with the kids.
The parents who must love Spice Girls.
Yeah. Yes. Or with all the cameos, not the parents that don't like the Spice Girls, but will
But
go
the ones
to
who are
enjoy
like,
it.
you know who I love?
for the
Meatloaf.
cameos, yeah.
And I'm glad that he appeared in the Spice Girls movie. The guy who did Bat from Hell is in the Spice Girls. Oh, Richard E. Grant's dancing is great, might I add. He dances really great. I felt really educated this episode. They're learning Richard
Are
E.
they
Grant
literally
is in his
only
middle
singing
name.
la 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 right now?
Well, they're singing Yellow Man.
Yellow man into book two.
Yeah. So Lauren's singing along. This is her favorite song. She said this earlier.
Dancing queen. Travel, space, fed, and all that's in between.
So,
Colors of the wood. Spice up your life, everybody. Spice up your life.
okay, Lauren, you're spicing up.
We want Spice Up Your Life to become the next Hard and the Fuck Up.
I really like the fact I can't get over that Norm from Cheers is in this, because I have to really highlight, especially you, Bartek, because you're
He's the fat American guy?
Yeah, he's Norm from Cheers. So Norm from Cheers, you gotta remember, Bartek, Cheers was a very big sitcom, American sitcom. It was huge. It went on for several seasons.
Is that the one set in the bar?
Yes.
Right.
Frasier came from that. And it had Ted Danson in it, and Shelley Long, and Kirstie Alley. And it was a huge, huge sensation. Like, you know, everyone would watch Cheers. Like, it was a big show. We all know the theme song on a level. You know, everybody knows your name. And Simpsons rips it off. Everyone's made a parody of it and all this kind of stuff. And the thing about Cheers is, I think universally the most popular character, or the most well-liked character, was Norm from Cheers, who was the barfly. He was the big, you know, fat guy who sits at the end of the bar. He has his spot. He's always bitching about his wife. We never get to meet her, I don't think. And he's just like your everyday common guy who's at the bar. And we all like Norm because we're all like, we can relate to Norm. We're like, Norm from Cheers. So Norm is like the representation of the working man's guy in America. And then after Cheers, he does Spice World. Which is like a really weird acting choice for an American to make. Because also, here's the thing, the Spice Girls, as big as they were, at this point they weren't that big in America. This was their way to get big in America. They were very big in the UK. Let's also, Bartek, here's something to blow your mind. I don't know if you know this, but this came out 10 months after their first album.
I think I did hear something like that.
And then their second album came out during this time as well. So isn't that amazing, Lauren? The just quick turnaround. Like everyone was so confident that the Spice Girls would have this longevity.
By the way, Ryan, the credits said, Stephen Fry played just Judge.
Judge.
Just his name, Judge.
Just Judge.
Just Judge.
Is that his name? Just Judge.
Not just Jason. Just Judge.
Just Judge.
Open quote. Judge. Close quote.
I do like the little subtlety there of the camera guy looking quickly at Mel B's ass and then walking off frame, and we don't see him again now. He's gone. We never see him again. Mel B's here, but my fiance was like, "Hey, where's Posh? Did she not want to be in this?" And then as soon as she said that, Posh just walks past and says one line, and then we never see Posh again. Which is exactly it, you know. That's what we want from Posh Spice. There she goes. Bartek, just to ask you, we've done many episodes, but what movie did we do on this podcast that had a very similar ending to this movie, in which it was the characters or a character speaking to the audience as they're in the theater, and even makes references to people kissing in the back? I swear we've had a movie on this show that did that at the very end. Am I wrong? I swear we have.
No, we haven't done Ferris Bueller. No, he just says to go home.
No, I swear we've had one where it's like the credits. They're like, "Hey, you're kissing at the back there." Like, I swear it's like they cut out, like they pop out of a hole in the screen and they're like talking to.
I don't know about kissing, but Shark Tale kind of had crazy Earl,
No.
like saying, "Give me some of that popcorn," and he jumps in.
No. We've done something And here's the gift that I sent to Lauren in preparation for this of them waving at you.
Hey, didn't you say the Posh Spice left?
No, she's back now.
Oh, I thought you said you never see her again.
Oh,
Was that
for
just
for that one take shot, yeah. Now she's joined in the close-up shot where they're just babbling to the audience. I love stuff like this in a credit sequence. It's just fun, you know. Like they're having fun. They actually got good chemistry with just the camera. It's a fun sequence, Lauren.
When you watch it alone, though, they're kind of ganging up on you with questions.
Stop ganging up on me. So, Lauren, we're approaching the end of the movie. I'd love to hear your review and rating of this movie. Being a Posh Spice fan, being a Spice Girls fan, and a Spice World fanatic now.
Yes, yes.
Let's hear from you.
With all the cameos, with the multiple stories, I give this wonderful movie, Spice World, a rating of 5 Paris Fashion Week catwalks that Victoria Beckham can walk down and have a standing ovation to.
And is that your review as well?
Yes, that is my review.
That's
as
it.
well.
That's
Yep,
it.
Nice, short and sweet.
Just like Posh Spice.
Yeah.
Short, sweet, nice. Well, maybe not nice. She seems a bit standoffish, but that's Bartek though. You're posh.
No, I'm baby.
You wanted to be posh, but then you're like,
Well,
I can't be.
I wasn't really aiming for anyone. I was just,
She was your favorite.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't mean I want to be her.
Are you sure?
Ryan, how can I kiss her if I am her? I mean, what?
Oh, easy, Bartek.
I'm podcaster
You see,
Spice.
you grab your one hand like this, and you get your index finger to touch the tip of your thumb, like that. Get it in like that OK symbol, and then you get your other hand and stick your thumb through that, and you kiss that. And it's like kissing, French style. Lauren knows.
Lovely.
Lauren knows. Lauren knows. She's like, I had to practice that all through high school.
No, I had my first kiss at 12, guys. I'm good.
With your hand. We get it,
No.
Lauren. No need to brag. I'm Lauren. I got my first kiss at 12. I was just a tween then.
I feel like
I kissed Bobby Riggs near the truck stop for $12 dues. That's my review. No. If I have to give this movie a review and a rating, here it is. Spice World, more like Spice Yes. Herb World, more like. I love this movie. Sometimes you don't need a movie with a plot. And people go, whoa, Ryan, in the past you've condemned movies without plots. And yes, I have. But here's the thing. It depends the attitude of the movie and the execution. This movie's going for a weird, surrealist, absurdist edge to it. That's also commentating on the fact that it's kind of stupid that you're making a movie about the Spice Girls. And that in itself is the plot of the movie, but it doesn't need an actual, real, solid 3-act structured plot. You don't need the Spice Girls to save the orphanage, you know, like, because you would watch that and think, that just isn't real, this is all stupid. And instead, they actually went, you know what is stupid? This is an idea for a movie, like, we're doing a movie, that's stupid. So, they just go with that, and that is so awesome. If I have to give this movie a rating, which I do, I'd have to give it a zig-zig ah out of a zig-zig ah.
That's a good rating.
Yeah, you're jealous, aren't you?
Yeah.
Lauren's giving me that just stare where she's like, fuck, I didn't think of that. But you'll be really proud to know that the writer of this movie, went on to write and direct your favorite movie, S Club 7.
Oh, right. Okay.
There you go. Just wanted
I
to...
forgot S Club 7 had a movie.
Don't worry. I didn't forget. So, Bartek, let's hear from you.
This might shock you, but I like this film. All right, take a deep breath, Ryan.
Sorry.
I said your name weird there because I thought I was saying it wrong, but Ryan is your name.
That is my
I
name.
think.
That is my name.
Who am I? Oh yeah, Podcaster Spice. This is actually a very good film. I definitely was hesitant walking in because this is one that I've heard a big reputation for. I'd had preconceptions based on a video review that I saw many years ago. It was one that I thought, like, is this just gonna be a bunch of sketches? But like we've established, there is a plot here, and even if a lot of them are random, like not to like Family Guy hard cutaways or anything
Well,
like that.
they do have random hard cutaways that are random.
They do. I'll admit that. Maybe I have to admit that. This film was very funny. It had moments that were just burst out laughing funny. It had just chuckle funnies. It had a lot of really good funnies.
Polite chuckle funny?
Polite chuckle funnies, yeah, sure. It had the whole shebang of funnies in this film.
That should have been the subtitle for the movie. Spice World, the whole shebang of funnies. I would watch that movie.
That's the sequel.
That's the Squeakquel.
The 2020 sequel.
I would watch that.
I definitely think a lot of people should check this one out. It's hard to be presumptuous, but I think a lot of people would have at least heard of this film if they haven't seen it. And yeah, if we consider the fact that it's meant to be for Spice Girls fans, typically younger girls, it's going to be kind of hard to recommend to people. But I think everyone, you should just put aside the preconceptions you have and actually check it out for what it is. You know, maybe if you're like a good bad movie fan, you might get something out of this. I think we can think that this is actually a genuinely good film, an unappreciated
Where was
masterpiece.
it, Oscar? I'm looking at you, Harvey Weinstein. Why didn't you promote this?
Apparently it won. I can't remember if it was nominated or if it won, but there were like 7 golden raspberries for it.
I hope that it won none of those, but in fact, I hope it won a Logie somehow.
I think
The Australian TV Awards.
I think they won Worst Actress for just the Spice Girls.
How dare you? Did you not see Ginger Spice?
Did you not see all the spices?
And Herbs standing over in the corner.
One of the quizzes.
The 12 secret ingredients.
One of the character quizzes had a weird question where it was like, pick a spice, and it just had 4 pictures of different spices, and it didn't even label them. So I'm like, I don't know which one's which.
Which one did you pick?
The bottom right one.
And what did it look like?
It was like a bunch of yellow powder in a bowl.
Okay, great. I know that. You remember that spice? Yellow powder spice?
It wasn't like coriander or anything, like turmeric,
You know,
but
I was thinking it would be turmeric.
no, it wasn't that yellow.
Onion powder?
It was like sandy
Onion
yellow
powder.
maybe?
Paprika!
I don't know.
Paprika's red.
Paprika but dyed yellow!
Sumac?
It wasn't labeled, Lauren. I can't tell.
Oh, all purpose. There you go.
We'll look it up after this review, or after the episode's done. Anyway, this is a great film. I give this film a stop right now, Roger Ebert. Half a star. What the fuck? Out of a 5.
No, you should have had it out of in your most hated movie list of all time. What the fuck, Roger?
Yeah, it was weird. He made it sound like this was the worst film of 1998. He gave it a lower rating than Armageddon, but then he called Armageddon the worst film of 1998.
Well, in retrospect, it was the worst film, but at the time, it wasn't.
Did you read his review, Ryan?
I didn't know. I thought you would have.
I did. It was
Did he write something like, "My name is Roger Ebert, and the Spice Girls are a musical band from England. I went to England one time. The Spice Girls were not at England, are they really from England as a musical act? One time I met Dwayne The Rock Johnson at an airport in England. He said, 'Hey, Roger, did you get those cookies I sent you?' And I said, 'Yes, I did, Mr. Dwayne Johnson. 5-star review.'"
He was really mean in this review. Like,
You don't say.
he was like actually like insulting the girls. He was like, they can't sing. They're only unique thing.
music maker Roger Ebert.
Their only unique thing is that they have different personalities. You could replace them easily with 5 people at a Dunkin' Donuts line or something like that.
Hey, did Simon Cowell make the Spice Girls? You mentioned him before.
I think he may have worked at the
Because I'm surprised he
company.
wasn't in this movie.
He hates acting.
But he appears in everything. He's in the fucking Simpsons. Jesus, Lauren. So, Bartek, hit us with the reviews and ratings from the interwebs.
Sure, I will do that. The first things that I have are comments from YouTube.
YouTube.com
Yes.
/ trailer
Like
for
Q-
Spice World.
Q, capital R, whatever.
Hit us in the loincloth.
The first comment is one that has a response. And it goes as such.
Great.
It's easy to forget how huge they were in the 90s. My sister was absolutely crazy about them, so I grew up having these songs drilled into my head. Even got subjected to having to watch this movie a few times. Oh, and the PlayStation game.
There's a PlayStation game?
Bartek, why didn't you play it?
I didn't know it existed.
You know what I would have loved? You would have been, you should have been like, and guys, my brother Oscar, when he was a small child, really wanted the Spice Girls game.
He was born after this film.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And he's like, but that doesn't mean the PlayStation 1 game came out directly at the same time. It could have been a year or two later. And
he
then
came
your brother...
out of the womb and he said, I want to play the Spice Girls
No, he
game.
came out with a PS1 controller. And that was his umbilical cord! Lauren and I are the same wavelength. And he had the memory card in his hand and the disc in the other, and he's like, I'm ready! That was his first words. I'm ready.
I didn't get a PlayStation until like 2003.
Well, your brother was already on top of the game.
Anyway, the next comment, the response to that is, we are good for the next few more days before the game starts at work, and I'm not able to come today as soon as I get home, and I'll let you know as soon as you know when I'm on the way. But I'm there now, but we'll be back to you in a few hours. And he said it was a good day for you about the position, and I am so sorry to hear about this, but I will let you to call her.
Was that an email? Was that an email they meant to send to somewhere else?
It's like the YouTube comment version of a wrong number.
It's like wrong email sent to that person. Like, oops, I didn't mean to send that email to you. Whoopsies. I just on YouTube.com and I sent my email.
I was too distracted by hearing that the Spice World has a game on the PS1.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next comment is, I was 11 years old when, no H, I first bought this movie and watched it with my friends and sister at, like the symbol at, the end of June in 1998. Oh. The school, spelled with a K, year was done, and it was also 1 month after Jerry departed from the group. Is it Jerry or Gary? Jerry.
Really? One of them in the movie said Gary.
Oh dear.
Controversy.
Maybe that's why she left.
Ooh.
If I watched a lot of movies for the very first time, but Spice World is hands down the best film I have ever seen when I watched for the first time. I say that because they were big in the 90s, so watching a film starring them was a great memory. Also, the fact for when I watched it, where I watched it, and who I watched it with. Not only do I have the movie on VHS, but I also got their first 2 CDs.
Great.
Even though they only lasted as a group for a few years, they made a big impact worldwide. Wannabe and Who Do You Think You Are my top 2 best songs from them. If they never seen them live, but the movie itself shows you who they are, and it's a true classic for life. 2016 marks 20 years since their very first song. I was hoping for a worldwide tour, but it didn't happen. They are the best thing of the 90s, and I love them for life. Spice Girls forever!
Another trivia fact about recent Spice Girls news was they're like, we're going to do a world tour, but apparently they're not doing that because Mel B called Victoria a bitch.
No, Posh wasn't even going to do the reunion tour in the first place.
But recently I looked it up. Posh said, I'm definitely not doing it. I'm definitely not doing it because Mel B called me a total bitch. Jeez, Mel B, leave Posh alone. She's just a very rich, spoiled bitch. Leave her alone.
And the final comment, a very short one, but it's a very personal one. I remember taking the missus to see this. Biggest load of shit I have ever watched.
But did she like it?
Who knows?
We'll never know. We'll never know. It's like if I said, It's like if I said, like, oh yes, Lauren and I went out one time at this rave club. I absolutely fucking hated myself and I never went again. It's like, but what about Lauren? Did she enjoy it? Did she come back? What happened to her? And then Lauren's like, well, no, just we don't talk about Lauren's point of view. It's only my point of view.
She doesn't have an account in this conversation.
Lauren doesn't exist outside of my reference of her. Don't laugh. That proves that I'm not right. That's actually how Lauren laughs. Like, I've actually seen Lauren at events where Lauren laughs exactly like how she did just then, but genuinely not in that mocking tone, where we're like, hey, Lauren, how are you? Ha, 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 I'm great. And you're like, Lauren, calm down. And she's like, ha, ha, ha. And she's like charging up her laser to destroy a bridge in another country.
You have a lot to say about this.
And Lauren just like putting on those scientist gauntlets, you know, the ones that they always have in those movies. And she says like, ha 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 ha! Bartek will pay for what he did. And I'm like, what did Bartek do? What did he do, Lauren? And then she doesn't answer because you don't exist outside the reference out of her. So, you know, it's exactly where
because
we're at
I did
again.
the biggest load of shit she's ever seen, yeah.
Well, you know what you did. You'll pay.
Yeah, it's the biggest load of shit.
You'll pay, kids.
Anyway, IMDb reviews. I only found 4. But it'll be over very quickly, trust me.
I thought you said there were only 4 on IMDb.
No, they're like 200 and something, which I expected a bit more, to be honest, but yeah.
Oh.
I found 4 very short ones.
It means that there's only 240-something Spice Girls fans that can read and write.
Hopefully they can do at least one.
Go on.
They were both just staring at me for those at home.
Because you've got
listening.
glasses on.
The first...
Yes, I have my glasses on, yes.
That means you can maybe read.
I can read and I can
Are you
write.
sure?
Yes.
If I took those glasses off, could you read?
I'm wearing a shirt.
No, because these are new and I'm only adjusting
read
to
that.
these.
Read that.
You're holding up your finger, you're flipping the bird.
No, I'm actually doing the peace sign.
You're saying you were number 1. The first review is titled, What? WHAT question mark.
While you read this, can I try on Lauren's glasses?
Yes, you can. They're new. Like, I only got them
Wait,
this
Lauren,
morning.
he was asking me.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, good. They're new. She only just got them, what was it,
This
yesterday?
morning.
This morning. And yet they're smudged already. Go on, Bartek. I'm listening.
The review is titled, What? It's from the 8th of August 1998, and it is a 6 out of 10 review.
They actually suit you.
I look gorgeous.
The Spice Girls are great, but they need to stick to singing, not acting. There was no plot, but it had big shoes.
It did have big
big
shoes. See, since I'm wearing Lauren's glasses, I've become her. Because we just said the same thing in unison.
The next review is titled, all caps, 2 exclamation marks, It Sucks!
I'm Lauren
It
now.
is from the...
I've gone full Lauren.
It's from a few days after the previous one, the 11th of August 1998, and it has no rating. I am not going to get into any detail about the main reasons this movie sucks, but I will say it is so bad, I couldn't even watch all of it.
Is that it?
Yep.
Hey, I liked the movie, but I won't get into it right here on this website where I tell you why I liked or hated it. Enough said.
The next review is in all lowercase. Hello. It is from, again, a few days after the previous review, the 16th of August 1998, and also no rating. The Spice Girls are fabulous, and this movie is only great if you have a large interest in the girls. Girls with capital G.
Not the spice. If you like spices, you're not welcome.
My friends tell me I am obsessed with them, which is probably why I love this movie. That's the review. Hello. And I have one more, and this is by far the longest review of the bunch. It's like twice as long as the last one.
So, like, 3 sentences more.
And it's titled, I Love This Movie. It is from the 20th of July, 1999, and is a 10 out of 10 review.
Oh.
I'm not a huge Spice Girl fan, but I really like this. I am a male, so this might look odd that I was watching Spice World. Well, at first, when it came to video, I wouldn't let it in the house. Then it came on HBO, and I watched it and loved it. For men, watch it at least twice. Once to stare, then to listen. Girls, you can watch it for the music and the comedy. Just watch it, though.
Hey, Lauren, did you like how he mansplained it to you? Like, you're allowed to watch it, but you can only watch it for the music. And what was it, the dancing?
And the comedy.
And
Music
the comedy.
and the comedy, yeah.
You can only watch it for those. You're not allowed to gawk at them.
There was one review I didn't include that it was a person telling a story about how he was reading a magazine and
With Lauren's glasses on, which I still
and,
have on.
and it talked about how Starship Troopers was a good film, so he went out to rent that film, but they accidentally gave him Spice World and they watched that instead.
And did they enjoy it, though?
I think they enjoyed it, yeah.
Lauren, I like these glasses. My only complaint is that when I move, I can't get them back in focus when I move my head.
Because they're not made for you.
They're not made for you!
Well,
That's a real good Rocky Horror reference.
Why don't you focus them?
I didn't make him for you! Hello, I'm Lauren. That's me doing my Lauren.
Which one's which?
We will never know. I gave the glasses back. Lauren is back in full force. She can see again.
Oh, thank God.
And she can see me saying...
No one spices back.
Thank you, Lauren, for coming on, being
That's
the spicy
alright.
expert, the spice spurt. Bartek, it's always a pleasure to be spicing it up with you. Living La
love
Vida
spice.
spicy.
I've been putting spice in a lot of my
Spice
food.
up your world.
Spice up your life, motherfucker!
Thank you to you listening people out there for being spicy.
Did we swear much this episode?
Fuck no. We kept it fucking in the cunt. So, you guys at home have been fantastic, amazing, wonderful listening people. As always, you can be even better by giving us the ratings and reviews on whatever podcast platforming sites available to do so. We're on all of them. That includes the Spotify, the iTunes, you're even on YouTube, Lauren. Ooh, yeah, if you're a big fan of Baby's Day Out, you must be listening to us on YouTube. Yeah, we're on the media of the social variety, the Facebook and the Twitters. We got an email, in case you want to email us, and your Spice Girl manager. It's spitandpolished@gmail.com.
Yep, the polish is past tense.
Past tense. Until next time, my
You
little...
have to think about that.
Maybe.
Next time, actually.
If we ever return...
Was this the last episode?
Lauren might murder us. She'd be like, I was really podcaster Spice. And then she takes off her mask and she's like a Mel B. And she's like, listen here, baby. And then like...
Hold on, you gotta get me to do it. Hold on here, baby.
You got way more Scottish with yours. She's from Leeds.
That's what she says before she has sex.
What you mean I'm from Leeds?
Better. Slightly better, Lauren. This is the rest of the episode, us teaching Lauren how to become Mel B. That's the whole episode now. You guys have been fantastic, amazing, wonderful listening people. Until next time, maybe, if you're lucky.
Mel B.
Mel B. Mel B.
Be Mel B to each other. Be Mel B, Mel B, be Mel B.